I used to do this thing called crank texting where I would just text strangers, like just text random phone numbers.
Yeah.
And I would just say, hey, what's up, right?
Yeah.
And then I'd get into a conversation sometimes, and somebody would think I was an old friend or something. Hey, is this Randall? And it's like, yeah, I haven't heard from you in a while. And then next thing you know, I'm asking if I can come stay the night, and it's like, you know, I'm in this crazy conversation that makes no sense, right?
Yeah.
It's not even real.
Yeah.
Like I was in relationships with people, like crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. So, I mean, I texted probably about 40,000 numbers over a couple of year period.
Are you serious?
Dude, I was so lonely. I would text batches.
Wait, this is when you were on the road, or you were just doing this?
This was all the time. You just bring up crank text, Nick. This was all the time. I would just start texting strangers. Yeah, I just got into it. And sometimes I would just text just a group of people, you know, just cranktext.com.
Do you renew this domain every year?
I think so. Let's just see if it's still up. So obviously it needs to be adjusted here for the screen somehow. But yeah, you get into different conversations. Like I would text people in a certain area code, like in Indiana, and I'd be like, we're raising money for Civil War reenactments, after school team, right? And you get into real conversations. People start leaving you voicemails, and next thing you know, you have this whole conversation. Then you can take it and you post it in here, right? So you get into, like, you know, this one was one I would text. Thank you for, what's that, the Hellman's one. Thank you for entering the Love Your Hellman's contest. We'll be contacting you once the judges have reviewed all entries. Good luck, and thank you for loving your Hellmans. So you just send that to strangers, and people are like, what in the fuck are you talking about, dude? Or you send them a picture, you know?
Oh, Hellman's, man.
And then they have to reply. Just so you, anyway, I got into insane conversations. I would text a group of people, and I would be like, oh, Ricky won 3rd place. And I would get a picture of an Asian kid with a trophy and just send it to all of them in a mass text, right? And so somebody would be like, who's Ricky, right? And somebody would be like, take me off this chain, right?
Yeah.
And somebody would be like, oh, bless his heart, man. And then somebody else would be like, who in the fuck is this, man? And I'd be like, if some of you guys cared, if you had been there, if you cared more, you'd have been there to see him win, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, I get in this crazy conversation with people, and I would just save them and put them online. Anyway, fast forward.
That was your idea?
Right, that was my idea, right? This is probably a decade ago. So Howie Mandel was looking for somebody to host a prank show.
Yeah.
So I had done this for years, man. I'd spent a ton of money paying people to edit them up. Spent a ton of time. And he's like, oh, I like your prank website. And so that's how I got a job hosting his prank show.
So he saw it.
He saw it, yeah. And so it was like, I'd spent all this time doing it, and it wasn't getting anywhere.
Yeah.
I just didn't have the PR to make it pop, and then it got me a job on his show, and it wasn't like my type of show really, but it was a great opportunity. It gave me enough money where I was able to then to pay back the comedy debt that I built up.
Yeah. And you also have a relationship with Howie.
And now I still have a relationship with Howie, which is great. So, which then introduced me, he got me on to like Arsenio Hall one time to perform. Just little things. So it's just like, you just don't know what you're doing now, where it could end you up sometimes.
Yeah, and and when you give up on that, it's gone. Or when you stray off that path.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And go off into a different direction. And if your heart isn't that way, nothing's gonna happen, right?
Yeah, your heart has to be there though.
Your heart has to be here, and no matter how bad the struggle is, as long as your heart is there, things will happen. I keep saying that. Like every time I go on this road, something just comes into my path. It just happens. You know what I mean? And then next you know, this relationship starts, and next you know, I'm building this, and now I'm writing this, and that's what it is. It's just staying here, man. Once you give up and stray off, like if I would have became a manager like my mom wanted me to be, I'd be at Wells Fargo going, hey, man, let me tell you this one joke that I got. You're going to love this one.
They're like, oh, God, here comes that manager guy.
Here he comes again. Here comes Zinger. He's always got a pocket full of zingers.
When I was living in my car, I started a website because they just released this thing on NFL.com. It was called the All 22 Cam, so you could actually see the plays because you can't see that on TV. You can see what the safeties are doing. And I wanted to break down the X's and O's, and I bought a website called PackersFilmRoom.com, and I didn't know what I was doing, but I learned how to build a website. And I was living in my car, so like $150 for a domain at that time was a significant amount of money, and it went for nothing. It didn't do anything, but I learned how to build a website and a bunch of that stuff. When I got hired at Corolla, I immediately started doing some of that stuff for them, and I just learned it
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at that time, it was a scary investment, but you were your heart was in it.
Yeah.
That thank God you did that, because it gave you the tools that you needed when you did get the opportunity, right?
Doing something is always better than doing nothing.
I guess what we're trying to say is risk.
Yeah, some risk.
There's risk takers, like
there's risk takers, yeah.
And
but
you
also
gotta
that you
risk.
don't know what the things you've been doing, where those elements are going to be needed, or when that value is going to pay off.
Yes.
You just don't know when that value is going to pay off sometimes, man.
Good evening, good afternoon, and other times. Thanks for watching that video you just saw. I mean, it was okay. But the next video you could watch could be way better. What if you watch a video right now that changes your life? Well, you could watch this one, or watch this one. Watch this one. Watch this one. Watch this one. Ah!